ANGOTIC, Angola ICT FÓRUM 2018.
When you are talking about entrepreneurship, you are talking about four things, major things. First of all, ideas. Do people have the ideas, what they want to do? Second, do they have the knowledge and the experience for it? Third, do they have the funding? And last but not least, do they have the entrepreneurship spirit that will drive them? And all four areas are tied to the same things when you're talking about information and communication technologies. After all, in the ICT, the only natural resource you need is a human brain, and it's equally distributed in the world. There's no nation, race, culture, religion that has more or less of that. But brains have to be trained. If your brain is trained, it's like a computer, hardware with softwares in it. Now, the ideas, we do have the ideas. Young people have the ideas because they're the ones experiencing the problems that are facing and they want to solve them. What's very important for governments to do is in the process, they should be close to the consumers, to the developers, so that their ideas are registered and protected. I want to talk about intellectual property rights here, which is very important. We all talk about M-Pesa as one of the best things that has been invented in Africa. Well, unfortunately, the IPR relies with Vodafone. It was not registered by the people who have had the idea in the first place. That's very important. That's why in every cyber park, in every school, higher education place, we need people who will, lawyers who will help the young people to register their ideas so that it will bring money. And that's very important because it creates a culture of sharing information. And I always criticize us Africans for not having the tradition of sharing information. Information in African culture is only good when it's secret, unfortunately. And it's the antithesis of development. Look at the traditional healer in a bush, in a village, who knows a very good medicine. He will cut it in secret, he will dry it, grind it, and even say some magic words on it before giving it away. And will keep it secret as long as he can, so he transmits it before he dies. Unfortunately, since he doesn't know when he's going to die, 80% of our knowledge goes down the drain and shared. That's very important. The younger generation has to be trained to be sharing their ideas so that when you share an idea, the IPR enables you to take benefit of it, even if somebody else uses it. The second thing I was mentioning was training and experience. We need to create a framework whereby big companies or small and major companies will be also mentoring some of those young people who want to who want to be entrepreneurs. And that's very important in sharing their experience, protecting them and guiding them in the first place. The third thing is funding, I said. I think it's the least difficult problem. Because in the ICT area, if you have a good idea, money will flow. I can assure you that. But money will not flow if you don't have the spirit. If government doesn't give the conditions for that to happen. And that's where the entrepreneurial spirit is important in taking risks, because entrepreneurship comes with risk of failure, potentially. You know, in the US, 80% of the new companies, they fail over 3 years' time. 80% of them fail over 3 years' time period, and they file for bankruptcy. In our culture, if someone has filed for bankruptcy once, he will never have a chance from any bank. Well, in some cultures, if you have failed, if you file for bankruptcy 10 times, you become a very rare commodity. Everybody wants to look for you, to get you, to invest in you, because they know you know 10 ways of not making a mistake. The 11th time will be the best, and you will be a billionaire, and they will be rich with you. That's very important. And we have to make sure that our government also inject those ideas to our banks, who will take some risk with people, and some ideas will succeed and make billionaires. All of those big companies that we're using now, the Google, Facebooks, were startups. Those were the 20% of the 100% of the companies that were created at that time. And it's very important that we encourage that spirit. And I believe that this all come back to leadership again. And I thank Prime Minister for raising this, but I say clever leadership. Leadership who dares to dream and dream big. When you're dreaming for your people, no dream is too big. And I always say, unfortunately, that there are some leaders who would dream something big and wake up in sweat. They were so afraid because the dream was too big. But that's not the worst. Some go back to sleep, saying it's just a dream. That's the problem. The real leader, a clever leader, will wake up and write it down and share it tomorrow. When you share a dream, it becomes a vision. And you have people who will turn that vision into a mission. That's what it takes. And we have leaders in Africa who are doing that now. I was referring to our board members of Smart Africa, the 13 presidents that are members of the board of Smart Africa, spearheaded by President Kagame himself, who has shown on the ground what clever leadership can do, taking a country from complete destruction in 24 years to a modern age today. And I believe that African new leadership, new breed of leadership that we're getting, are those type of leaders who dare to dream big and share their dreams. And that's what we're having. And I believe that then we'll put the citizen in the center, the entrepreneurs in the center. Because when entrepreneurship not only creates jobs, it creates wealth, as I said. You become rich. And for many years, we were thinking differently, actually. In Africa, for many years, we're fighting poverty. We're reducing poverty. What is reduced poverty? Still poverty. For over 2 decades, we were saying that we want to reduce poverty in Africa. We're not going to get there if you just want to reduce poverty, because a reduced poverty is still poverty. We want to create wealth. That's a way to think differently, positively, and giving the young people that spirit of moving forward.
ANGOTIC, Angola ICT Fórum 2018.